What happened to your school, bad boy, girl? School, bad boy, when I was there was my older brother. Drug dealer. Played in a metal band. General smartass and AE. He flunked out of college after 2 semesters and has been waiting tables since then. He turns 30 this year. And the girl he's dating now is the first one who's stayed with him for more than 6 months. She's super cool, actually, but like 5 years younger than him. They have a couple dogs, smoke a lot of weed, and play a lot of D&D. Last I heard from him, he was escalating a feud with his neighbor by putting a plate and a half worth of loose cooked spaghetti in her mailbox. Putting a plate and a half worth of loose cooked spaghetti in her mailbox. These innuendos get weirder every day. That ending OMG hahaha. April and Andy. Arrested for attempted rape. Bad boy is now manning the front desk of the local dry cleaner. Bad girl got married, got divorced and is desperately trying to get married again, but everyone is taking a bite. But nobody is buying. Shot and killed 2 fellow students behind a Publix across the road. So now he's in prison. Man, even behind a Publix. That's rare AF. Where shopping is a pleasure. It really is, though. Publix is the ST. Last I heard of him, he was totaling his dad's car and was kind of a running joke around town. He moved to California and became an ad film director. His Instagram stream regularly contains pics of him posing with topless models, celebs and fancy cars and bikes. He also has a boat. So, he's living up to his childhood image. I say. I know y'all are not going to believe this one. But the bad boy, super jacked dude bro, blonde blue eyes jock that got all the women. Well, he's doing gay PN at a professional level these days. So there's that. He's doing fine though. The bad girl that everyone was in love with. Not me at the time though. She turned out to be a very sweet person with an abusive dad, and that made her be so rebellious and edgy back in high school. Well, she's my ex-wife now. So there's that. She's doing fine though. That escalated quickly. The jock or my ex-wife or both? Haha. I'd have to say both lol. Alcoholic. Missing most all his teeth. Usually in between jobs in either lawn service or pest control. Has custody of his kids cause he's the good parent. She's dead. OD right out of high school. He got arrested for spray painting a wall, and happy ending, he went back to school and got into uni. Nice to see a happy ending. 2 bad boys. Both brothers. A few years apart. The younger one started some sort of legitimate business. Think Roy from The Office. And seems to be doing extremely well. The oldest is literally homeless and constantly begging for money on Facebook. It's really sad. Jay is dead 10 years now. And nobody thought he'd make it as far as he did. My biggest bully in high school ended up going to prison. Funny thing though, my mom worked in that prison. And they got to know each other. When he got out, he found me and apologized. He later got a job at a local Taco Bell. And whenever I came in, he would always add a bunch of free stuff to my order. I haven't seen him in almost 2 decades. But I know he became a dad. I actually hope he's doing well. Edit. Just looked him up. Had 3 kids, a wife, and is a contractor now. I'm glad he turned it around. Wow, that's actually a great ending. She was a bit of a goth. Smoked in front of the school. Smoked pot behind the gym. Graduated valedictorian. Went to Stanford on a full-ride scholarship. Goth valedictorian? Awesome. Big titty goth valedictorian? Love those search results on the hub. Apparently. Just looking at Facebook. He's now a nerdy hipster who frequently donates to various charities. In high school, he was a scene metal kid who had a penchant for beating up his many girlfriends. I'm fairly certain one of the prominent and popular bad girls at my school ended up as a prostitute. A few years after graduation, she kept posting about how people should come get massages at this sketchy spa she worked at downtown. She also kept posting about her modeling career. But all the photos were behind a pretty steep paywall. So I'm pretty sure that was PN. Anyway, I read in the news one day that this spa she worked at was raided by the cops and the owner was arrested for running a prostitution ring. She suddenly stopped posting after that. It's funny. In some aspect, just about every classmate of mine was a bad kid. Many went on to college or have kids. But many others have struggled. Out of 55, 12 have died. We graduated high school 6 years ago. Where the FK do you guys live? I am in Switzerland. I know no one in my school that has died because of drugs or crime. I always find it mad that so many people out of a year group can die. I left secondary school 5 years ago after A-levels and not one of my year has died. That's 300 people. Yet my brother was 2 years below and before they finished GCSEs. Aged 16. They'd lost 2 classmates. I live in a cute little town in PA, USA. I would consider it a pretty wealthy place. Heavily white. Lots of real estate and financial companies. We have a huge opioid problem. Mostly with high school kids to about mid-20s range doing it. And up until the pandemic, there were kids dying constantly of odds. I don't know if it's just harder to get now or the news isn't covering it as much. But I haven't heard much on the topic for the last couple months. Anyway, I remember my dad driving me to a friend's funeral when I was 15 and saying to me, "You've been to more funerals before the age of 16 than I've been to in my whole life." Quote. He had kids early. Still lives in his parents' basement. The life. Living the dream. Are the kids there too or? I had a few of them. Some of them are really crazy, but one of them seems to have calmed down a bit and I hope he's doing well in life because he kind of deserves some good luck emo. Which one? One became a serial killer. My wife dated him before all that. One's doing life for a contract killing. 3 are dead. They were bangers. 2 are in mental wards. I was a hood banger back in the late 80s, early 90s. Grew up in New Mexico. There were very few of us that became productive members of society. I got caught for B&E. Judge gave me a choice. Jail or Job Corps. I took the latter. Met my wife shortly after. And she taught me what it means to be a real man. Father. Human being. I loved this one. Job Corps was an amazing opportunity. Met my fiancé there and we're getting married next year. Glad you got your ST straight. Congrats. I grew up in NM. 2. Place had way too many ways to suck you under and keep you there. Witnessed a lot of friends go nowhere. Lots of teen pregnancies. One guy raped multiple girls in HS. Etc. I saw my brothers get FD up with the general mischief. Women helped put them in the right path. 2. I got out as fast as I could. He's an eggplant farmer. Literally. Delightfully niche. Definitely a quiet lifestyle. I can respect it. This made me happy. I was the bad girl. I was very academically gifted. But had a bad home life. So I smoked cigarettes and weed. Drank a fair bit of vodka. Basically did everything I could to rebel against authority. I once threw a jar of blood on the principal. Animal blood. Long story. Ended up getting kicked out. Spent 2 years on the streets with a bad drug habit and surviving through SX work. Had a massive OD, turned my life around. Worked in transport, logistics. Now at 30 I'm at university. Studying computer science, engineering. I'll be 34 when I graduate. Glad to hear you turned your life around. All the best luck to you, sis. Fair play to you. You're going to achieve more than most of the so-called normal people at your school. My school's druggie burnout. Slain UPS hijacking suspect was an armed and desperate violent felon. That guy was a family friend of my BF. I was told his wife ended up committing suicide after this. They were both involved with drugs. The saddest part is they left behind a little girl who is now about 2 years old and is now being raised by a friend. Oh geez. That happened right where I live. Might have gone to my school too. I guess I was bad boy in high school. 2 of the girls I dated called me their bad boy phase years later. I thought I was so bad too because I didn't give a st about anything and broke every rule I thought was stupid. Then I got sent to a school filled with kids way worse than me. My graduating class was around 20. I think. I maintained the same attitude about everything but somehow graduated. I was considered a good kid in that school because I did half my schoolwork and I wasn't shooting up or partying every weekend. Anyway, now I'm closing in on 30. I have a good job. Approximately $65K a year. Quite a bit in the shithole city I live in. And just bought my dream car. I'm currently sitting on my couch. Typing this in an awkward position because my cat decided to go to sleep right where my arm would go. Sorry if that was poorly written. I just did shots with my grandmother over Skype for her birthday. Bad boys for life. She's amazing. She once had me pick her up at the bar. She told me she had 9 shots of tequila. Still her favorite. Over a 3-hour period. She can outdrink me. No problem. Haha. Happy birthday to Grandma. Died of an overdose. That happened to a lot of kids in my school. I'm 10 years out now and I still sometimes hear about blah blah dying from this or blah blah dying from that. Read too fast and thought Penguin Space Cowboy was 10 years old with a long list of elementary classmates who died from overdose. Pixie sticks. Not even once. We had a couple. Myself included. I think there was about 8 in total. I'm all that's left. The rest are dead or incarcerated. I hope you're doing well for yourself. Came from a bad group myself and am now making things better for myself. Good for both of you. Are you dead and incarcerated? Not sure how this happened. But there were 3 bad boys on our football team. All players and all very good looking. They cussed, drank, smoked all the time, and were constantly getting laid. Or at least telling everyone they were. Right around senior year, college, they each went through some change and are all now born-again Christians. No partying, less cussing, and none of them talk about women in an objectifying way. It's great but kinda unnerving in a way. Right. Like did they go on a bender and murder someone together? This is the best theory to explain this that I've heard so far. Op needs to remember if a student went missing. The one that comes to mind forced his ex at gunpoint into his car and then drove to another state. Cops eventually caught up with them and then he shot himself in the car. I feel really bad for the girl. Ouch. Like it was straight out of a movie. He died in a car crash the night of graduation. Mine OD'd on methadone the night before graduation. Honestly, nobody was surprised. Sad. Maybe. But not surprised. Mine runs a Reddit novelty account called Flashback Teddy. If you're calling yourself the bad boy, girl, then you're not. That was me. I went to live with my uncle. He spent about 5 years intensively working with me and now I'm good. Nice guy. How's your relationship with your uncle now? Buy him a beer for me, will you? I still live near him and call him Dad. We'll buy him beer. Will Smith? Lots of meth. She posts photos of her newborn boy and calls him her sexy little man. When people call babies sexy, it makes me want to barf on them. It's so gross. On the babies? Don't do that. On the people. Babies generally barf on themselves enough. He's our county DA. What are his legal views? Is he the "let's send all the drug addicts to prison" type, or is he the "let's do drug court and rehab" type? I'm not sure. Honestly. I've never encountered him on a personal level and don't follow unless something is huge. We're a very low income, high drug area, and from what I do see, it's a revolving door. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.